Okay, ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So today's presentation is all about the over-counter medicines that you can purchase. And first of all of these things, all of them, have expiration dates on them. I read a study, and although I could not print the study out, the Department of Defense and the FDA came out with this study, and it's still ongoing. It's a longitudinal study, and it'll probably go on for the next 20, 30 more years, about how long these medications last after their expiration date. You see people, oh, the Tylenol's expired, we're going to throw it out, and they go buy a new bottle, okay? Well, the study proved that most of these things, after 5 to 10 years, still retain 90% of their potency, okay? Which, as I go through some of this stuff, still good, don't have to throw it out, okay? Obviously, when you talk about these medications, what will last longer is your pill form medications, okay? Gel caps and liquids don't last as long, okay? So just keep that in mind. If you think 5 to 10 years on a pill form, kind of think 3 to 6 years on a liquid form, okay? So kind of keep that in mind. Storage, obviously, cool, dry place, okay? Another neat storage thing is you want to keep your stuff dry, food saver. You can do, seriously, there's no air in there, and it'll last probably even longer, okay? So that's one of the things there. And while we're talking about expiration dates, if you're anything like me, I can't read that. Even with my glasses on, I have a hard time reading that, okay? Put a little card in there with a date, okay? Okay. So, oh hey, I just, here, a couple of handouts for you.
Oh, okay.
Okay. With storage, cool, dry place, airtight containers. You utilize your food saver if you need to, in case, we're in like a flood area or something. Something happens that way. There's paper and aluminum on here, but if it was to get into the wet, it's not going to last. It's not. It's going to dissolve right through there. So keep that in mind. So when we talk about these over-the-counter medicines, okay, I'm going to start off down here on this end. Your basic pain relievers, okay? And this is all on page 2 of your handout. Basic pain relief, Tylenol, of course, comes in a couple forms, 325, extra strengths, or 500s. And obviously in that study it does say safe, 90% potency, 5 to 10 years after the expiration date. Next one is a anti-inflammatory. That's your Motrin. Or is it ibuprofen? Same thing. Okay. These are all fever reducers, but your Motrins are your anti-inflammatories. Okay. And your naproxen or Aleve. Okay. I think that was the next one on the list. We talk about some dosage here. Ibuprofen. Safe to use, 2 to 3 tablets. You can get a prescription 800s. I've seen that prescribed 3 times a day. You want to be careful with your liver, okay? After extended use on that one. Aleve, 2 tabs, usually these are 24 hours, okay? Those will hold you pretty much all day long.
24 hours?
Yeah, 2 tabs, 24 hours.
I thought it was 12.
Well, it can be 12 if you need it, but safely to knock down on your GI upset and things like that with these NSAIDs.
Okay.
2 once a day.
Okay.
You can back it up with some Tylenol if you need to. Okay.
What's the difference between ibuprofen and the Aleve?
It's just 2 different medications. They do exactly the same thing.
So
Pharmaceutical company, one came out with the ibuprofen, and then we came out with the naproxen or Aleve.
Okay.
Okay? Basically does the same thing, When we talk about aspirin's another NSAID. And aspirin's great. but you want to be careful with aspirin because it's also a blood thinner. Okay? You have somebody who falls and cracks their head open and have a really bad headache and you don't know if they got a bleed going on or anything like that, don't use that one. Okay? You can potentiate bleed. Okay? And what you really want to be careful is, you know, mixing your aspirin with your ibuprofen and your naproxen. These two can irritate the stomach lining. Aspirin causes the bleeding. You know, I've seen it many, many times where, you know, people with chronic pain, they'll start mixing and using and, oh, this feels great, but I took 2 aspirin. They do that for days and days and days on end, or a month maybe, 2 months. Super irritating and cause a GI bleed. Okay? And obviously you wouldn't want to use aspirin if so for extended period of time if somebody had a nasty cut. You know, you're trying to get that closed up.
I got another question.
Sure.
Okay, you just said about the stomach.
Yeah.
That was for the
Acids.
like the Tylenol?
Tylenol is the safest one you can use. Tylenol typically doesn't irritate stomach.
Okay.
Okay, but these two can.
Which one goes after the liver? Or,
Well, these two can, extended heavy use
Okay.
can affect the liver.
Okay.
Tylenol can affect the liver too. We're talking months and months of heavy use.
Okay.
Got another question for you.
Sure.
Does aspirin smell like vinegar if it's bad?
Don't think so. This was expired in, oh, this is a new bottle. I got another one.
It's just something I had heard, and
This
then
expired in 21. It does.
it does.
Yep. Absolutely it does. It smells like vinegar.
See, I always thought
A little bit, yeah.
aspirin always kind of had that vinegar smell anyways.
I don't know, I never really, this is a brand new bottle. I haven't even used it. So we'll see.
See, of course, I grew up with aspirin, so
Right? And then now that we're talking about aspirin, not as much as that one. This expired in 21. This doesn't expire until 2025. So, but you can definitely smell it in that one.
now let me ask another question.
Sure.
Okay, now that you just opened that,
Yep.
is that going to shorten the life? Okay, so they're not like sealed, vacuum packed.
Nope. This seal is just for safety.
Okay.
I mean, you remember the guy that did something to the Tylenol all those years ago, and that's when these little safety things came into play.
Okay.
Okay?
So it's not going to extend the life.
No, it's not going to do anything. This is going to expire in 25, and you can pretty much guarantee that you got 90% 5 to 10 years down the line. Okay.
It'll be gone by then. For sure, at my house.
We're moving on to allergies now. Okay, everybody right now, I think everybody's taking something. Okay.
Yes.
So, same as Benadryl. This is just a cheap over-the-counter Benadryl. Oh, it's not expired yet. Anyways, they're saying this is up to 126 months. So, do the math there. 126 months after expiration, I didn't do
that's
that.
10. That's over 10 years.
Yeah.
10 and a half years.
Right. So, allergy relief, obviously you know that Benadryl makes you sleepy, can be used for quite a few things, and but allergy is the big one. And then the other two you can get over the counter. One is Allegra, and one is drawing a blank now. Zyrtec. Okay. These are 2 allergy medications, take daily. These used to be prescription medications, and now they're over the counter. Okay. Same thing, pill form, you know, usually 5 to 10 years after the expiration date on the bottle. You know, Sudafed, or this is Pseudogest, nasal decongestant. That's what this is. You know, expired in 2018. I took some the other day and it worked. So, these though, these are great to have on hand. You know, with the methamphetamine, you're only going to get 1 box at a time. You know, that's the big deal there. So there's that for allergies. Now, the one thing I do want to say, you know, if you got a severe allergy and you're talking about EpiPens, okay? EpiPens is one of the things that's only good 1 to 2 years after the expiration date, okay? That's something, if something happened and we couldn't, our pharmacies weren't open or ERs weren't open or whatever, EpiPens are going to be the one thing that is going to get scarce really, really quickly. You know, a lot of people for bee allergies, whatever, you know, there's many people that carry EpiPens on them all the time.
What is an alternative to an EpiPen?
What is it?
There isn't.
Whiskey.
No, there isn't. I mean, I've had, there was, trying to think back, I had a patient in the ER one time, and they were caught out without their EpiPen, and I don't remember exactly what allergy it was now, but it was because so many years ago. They took a couple Benadryl, and they took some other allergy thing, and it bought them some time so they could get to the ER. That was the whole thing about it.
Wow.
But if you're talking severe allergies like anaphylaxis, you're down with a bee sting. Yeah, and some scary stuff there. So that is one thing that I wanted to say about the EpiPen, is that it's only good 1 to 2 years. Okay. I mean, obviously, if there's a bad situation and that EpiPen's at 3 years, I'd be giving it to somebody if they needed it. I mean, it ain't gonna hurt them any. So I'm moving along to respiratory. Okay, several things you can get over the counter respiratory. Nowadays you can get, this is called Allerflow, and what this is Flonase. Allergy, yeah, up the nose, you know. And this is a great thing for allergies or whatever. Mucinex. Mucinex is another great one. We give this is normal, patient has pneumonia, okay? People get pneumonia all the time. Mucinex is great. We usually give it to them with an antibiotic for their pneumonia. You know that great little commercial with the little green guy, you know? Yeah.
Wish I knew how to spell some of this stuff.
I just kind of listed them here for you guys, actually.
No, that's fine, that's fine.
Respiratory, there's the Mucinex.
You said that was with flu. You'll give the Mucinex and
Bronchitis,
bronchitis,
pneumonia,
okay.
upper respiratory, stuff like that. That'll really, really help break it and get that out, okay? Now, when you talk about respiratory, and I know we have all talked about omeprazole for the stomach, you know, gastric reflux, all that, but, you know, if you have allergies and you have respiratory issues, this omeprazole over the counter, this really, really helps. And I'm going to tell you why, because it dampens down the acid in your stomach, okay? Which, when this acid starts working and you're all plugged up, or you've got a really bad pneumonia type thing, the acid in the stomach all builds up and it comes up your esophagus, which can cause some serious problems. And actually, when you talk about somebody who's got GERD, the gastric reflux, cough, 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 cough. You better, you know, this really, really helps. Knock down the acid, it'll knock down the cough, and, okay?
And that's over the counter?
Yeah, over the counter. Yep.
I need to write that down.
It's actually on page, where am I at? Privatine Mist, where did I do with the omeprazole? Oh, I didn't write that, didn't put the omeprazole under the GI.
So
But the omeprazole can go under respiratory and GI, okay? Another couple things here. Nasal spray. Everybody knows what that's all about. for a respiratory. And they used to have a product just called Primatene Mist. I don't know if it's still out on the market. It's over the counter. It's an inhaler, okay? You know, you have somebody who's wheezing really bad, and you can use that, you know. But I don't know. I haven't seen it at the store in a long time. So, and then Grandma's favorite thing, Vicks Vapor Rub, you know.
I haven't been able to smell that stuff in years.
You say you haven't?
Haven't.
Oh,
This last spring when allergies were really getting to me, be like, okay, go to bed. My wife's like, oh, you reek. I'm like, I can't.
I know it sounds awful. Put it right here.
Yep. Oh, my mom used to do that to
Yeah.
me. She would like do the last second. Oh, I'm like, ah.
You'd cough and Grandma'd come with the Vicks.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Gotcha. So anyways, we're going to GI, okay? You know, the thing about GI, and when I was setting up this presentation, you know, GI upset can be caused by anything. And let's say there was a situation where somebody got, you know, our electricity was down and contaminated water or contaminated food, something like that. You know, there's some things that you can use over the counter that will help. First things first is just an over-the-counter probiotic, okay? It'll help get that GI tract back into a normal thing, okay? This ain't gonna hurt anybody. People are on it daily, you know, and have been for years, okay? This also help. These things are quicker. This will also help in the long run for diarrhea, traveler diarrhea, things like that. Okay. What's this one? Oh, travel sickness. You know.
Dopamine.
Well, yep. Basically, you know, this is that. Okay. This is an antiemetic. Okay. You got your Dramamine, which I didn't bring any. I had some at the house. Dramamine, or this is a little bit different medication, okay, but it will take care of nausea. Okay.
Which one is that?
This is the travel sickness pill. The Dramamine is under GI. Meclizine or Dramamine.
Okay.
They're two different medications. Will work wonderful for nausea. Okay. And then of course you got the liquid nausea. Okay. And this is in a brown bottle for a reason, because it's protected from the light.
Sunlight.
Yeah. This expired in 2003.
So that's probably
Probably.
because it's a liquid form, as you said.
Probably time to upgrade that one to a new bottle. Imodium, of course. Okay. The tricky thing about Imodium on this list is, you know, Imodium, you don't exceed 4 caps in 24 hours, okay? Because it can have the complete opposite effect and can cause some pretty severe constipation, okay? Yeah. And there was a couple things, laxatives, of course, you know, you can get, you know, you go into the store and there's 15 different laxatives there, you know, if you needed something like that. Pepto-Bismol. Great thing. Everybody needs like a gallon of that stuff, you know.
What about Epsom salt?
Okay, if you talk about drinking Epsom salt. Okay.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
For GI.
Okay, we're gonna. I would not do the Epsom salt in the water. Okay, I actually, it's coming down the line, but I have homemade Gatorade, which is way better than Epsom salt. Okay.
Well, I was thinking more of, say, someone's backed up. And
Yes.
You don't
For
have
that,
any, okay.
I'm thinking yes. If you got some severe constipation, you can do Epsom salt. I think it's a teaspoon or a tablespoon.
It's on the package.
Teaspoon or a tablespoon in 8 to 12 ounces of water, and it'll work like a gem. Yeah. Yep. And there's well, talking about constipation, there's also mineral oil, if you can get that down, you know. What was the other one that they used?
What about olive oil?
Olive oil.
Doesn't that do
will
the
work
same
too.
thing? Help with the GI tract as well?
Yep. Olive oil, you know, there's just a whole bunch of home remedy stuff for constipation. But yes, that can be used as well. But you want to be real careful with that, because if you put too much Epsom salt in the water, what it does, it takes the fluid in the tissues and takes it to the and shoves it into the GI tract because of the osmosis in there, and it can actually dehydrate you. You know, right? Think about the people who are stranded on the desert island and all they have is salt water around them and they're dehydrated. They die of dehydration. You know? So that's.
I'm just thinking if we didn't have any of those.
Yes, Epsom salt will work. Epsom salt water will work.
Because I know we've got a large bag of it. So.
Epsom salt, yeah.
That will work great.
Peppers love it.
Oh, really? So anyways, while we're talking about the GI and dehydration, there's a great little thing, homemade Gatorade, you know. And all it is you got your water, which you've boiled and done all that, a teaspoon of baking soda, 1 to 2 teaspoons of salt, and 7 tablespoons of sugar. It'll give you the electrolyte. And it says add a packet of Kool-Aid, sugar-free Kool-Aid in there, but you don't need to do that. You know. That's that. But it will work. I have made it before, you know.
Save me a whole lot of money.
Yeah, you can have all the stuff. I'm going to give you guys all the stuff.
Okay, I'll grab it later.
Yeah, okay. So anyways, so now we're down to like the skin stuff. There is one very neat little thing here. And this Ambisol, okay, obviously for tooth pain, you know, works great. But if somebody cut themselves really bad and you know serious cuts or wounds hurt real bad, you can put this in a wound. It's got benzocaine in it.
So it replaces iodine?
Huh?
It replaces iodine?
No, it replaces the lidocaine for the wound, you know. And then of course you can get liquid lidocaine too. Gel, you know. But
so it's like a topical numbing.
Let's say bad case scenario, you guys are somewhere and somebody gets cut real bad or whatever, and you had some of this, and you know, you could actually clean the wound out, put this on there, and you can actually suture somebody up, and it's not going to be completely 100% comfortable like if you would have went to the ER, but it won't be so bad, you know. Okay. Skin wise, New Skin.
Love that stuff.
New Skin.
You used it?
Yeah, New Skin.
Have you?
No, I have no cuts right now, so I can't.
Okay.
New Skin, this is so old it doesn't even have an expiration date on it, which predates this to, expiration dates had to be put on all of this stuff in 1979. So this is pretty old. But I'm sure it still works. You know.
I'm not going to cut myself to try.
No, okay, let's not do that. Okay. Obviously, your Neosporin, your hydrocortisone, your, you know, well, there's triple antibiotic, Neosporin, all of that, you know, works great. Gold Bond, that Gold Bond powder or cream or whatever is fantastic, you know, to use. There's another thing. If you had, let's talk about Listerine for a minute. And I know we're talking about skin, but I'm gonna jump over here. Somebody had a cut that was infected, and you had Listerine or antiseptic mouthwash. You could wash out that wound with that too. All this is kind of cross over a little bit.
That would hurt.
It sting. Yeah, it would sting. Probably the same as putting alcohol on it, but you know, at least the germs and nobody's going to get infected. You know, well, you know, I can't say it's going to prevent it 100%, but still, it will, you know, help knock down the germ count.
Yeah.
You know, zinc oxide or Desitin, baby, Desitin cream, all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's great for, and you can actually. If you were out somewhere and that was in your bag and you didn't have any sunscreen, you can actually dilute that, mix it, make a little thinner paste, and use it as sunscreen. It will work. And that actually works really, really good. So, what else do I have? Okay. Muscle aches, pains, whatever, you know, we've all got the icy hot, you know, things like that. Epsom salt, soak in something in an Epsom salt, that helps alleviate muscle strains, sprains, things like that. You know, there's a few things here that don't really need to be in this, but Coban, Vet Wrap, whatever, great stuff. You know, Ace Wraps, you want stuff like that. Okay. Any antibacterial towelettes, you know, that sort of stuff. Like these little facial, these are, I don't think these are antibacterial, but, you know, anything to wash up, whatever. And other helpful things. You know, we think, you guys probably already have your rubbing alcohol and your peroxide in your array of things you need to have. Betadine. Betadine is the best.
Benadine?
Betadine. It's that red stuff.
Betadine?
Betadine. Betadine.
He's from out east, so it's betadine.
So, what you can do with this is wonderful. And if you had ever been in the ER and needed stitches or sutures or anything like that, or you had a wound that had to be closed up, not by sutures, it had just healed on its own, if you watch us in the ER, we will dilute this 50-50 with saline. You know, and I got a thing for saline here, because this can actually burn the skin a little bit and be quite irritating. Okay, so you want to like kind of dilute it down a little bit. You know, you can even clean water will work diluting it. You know, I mean obviously, you know, if you didn't have, fine. You know, it's gonna might irritate the skin a little bit there, burn it a bit. Bleach. Another great thing. And when we're talking about bleach, in wounds especially, and I'm going to give all this stuff to you guys, so if you have a wound that needs to be cleaned, or you got something that's infected, or anything like that, or a scorching case of poison ivy, homemade Dakin solution is fantastic. It's bleach, baking soda, and clean water. You can even use tap water with this stuff. Dakin's. Yep.
I actually found that rubbing alcohol, as soon as you know you got it.
Oh, yeah.
If you hit it rubbing alcohol, it will, like midday, it'll be gone before the end of the day.
Right.
So it just washes those oils and gets in there. And
this Dakin's is really great with like a wound that needs to be healed up, you know, and you got a dressing on it, and it's a big one, and you want to keep this here is fantastic. We use this to this day in home care and for wound care all the time. Wow. You know, it's great. Okay? So it's wonderful. And in this paper, the safest one to use without actually, you know, causing harm to the skin or a wound is your quarter strength. In this paper, you got full strength and all the other ones. The quarter strength is the one we use it in medical, you know, quarter strength. Yep. It's great. And speaking of that, I do have another handout for your homemade saline solution too. Okay. So that's great.
now, is it true saline solution is only good for, it has a really short shelf life?
It does. It does. If I had, at work, if we have to use saline, they come in a little 100 ml bottles, okay? It's like, if you open it, you throw it away. It's only good for like 24 hours, because yeah.
That does open.
Yep. That's why we kind of like the, you know, go with the Dakin solution a little more than the saline, you know. Yeah. And the saline, you guys got the Vaseline and all that sort of stuff. Antibacterial soap, your Dawn dish soap's great, you know.
Really?
Yep. The betadine. I think I kind of covered everything. Any questions?
go back to that stuff with the coughing.
Okay, back to the cough, back to the respiratory
That
section.
one box that you have.
This one here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me see that. My wife, for some reason, always seems to either get bronchitis or walking pneumonia.
Mm-hmm.
And it rattles the walls when she
Yeah.
coughs. And they thought that she had COVID, pneumonia supposedly. And I made some hydrochloroquine, homemade. She said for 3 days, that was it. I can't take that no more. It's nasty stuff. So then I found out about bromine, which is in pineapple. And I started feeding her pineapple. Inside of 3 days, she was sounding a whole lot better.
Oh, good.
Of course, now she does the hula really good because of all the pineapple she ate. All right? She was going through 3 pineapple pretty much by herself, all right, in a week. In a week.
Or do you think maybe it was the vitamin C in the pineapple?
It could be. It could be.
Because I never even, I mean, I put vitamins on my list to talk about, but, you know, vitamin C is a great one, vitamin D, all them great ones that we, you know, that we don't think of to put in your...
Well, when COVID really started hitting, my nurse practitioner friend told me that they were finding a lot of zinc deficiencies and vitamin D deficiencies. And one of the things that I realized was, with my heritage being somewhat English and rotting teeth that runs in the family, I was taking zinc, which actually stopped the teeth from being so soft. And the dentist was happy about that. But I think that's what got me through COVID, was I was on that regimen of already taking zinc and, of course, vitamin D and my normal vitamins, because I was taking extra vitamin D on top of it. So.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the great things that, you know, I mean, COVID happened and I was seeing patient after patient after patient with COVID. And granted, I had my gown and my N95 on and everything. And I would be around COVID patients pretty much like 9 to 5, you know. And I vitamin C, zinc, you know, I was taking D anyways because it kind of all started in March, February, March-ish, you know. So I was already taking that anyways, and I, yeah, knock on wood, I didn't.
You survived.
Yeah. Yeah.
The one thing, I'll finish.
No, go ahead.
The one thing that our so-called officials missed is that they kept on telling everybody to stay inside, you know, don't go out. Well, there goes your vitamin D right out the, excuse the pun, window. All right? And I was around quite a few COVID people that actually had COVID, right? And by the grace of God, they get nothing.
Yep, I mean, you know, time will tell on the COVID thing. I think maybe if the truth actually comes out about it, you know, I think I mean, this is just my opinion. I think there was a lot of things done wrong by the,
I'll clip that out.
okay.
One more question. Back to the allergies, and I see eyes here too.
Yep, eyes.
I'm not asking for advice, but I am. For some reason, in the last week, this eye has been running, and of course, my allergies are just kicking my butt. So, I've been taking, and I think it's Aleve that makes it. It's a green box.
Okay.
It's one of those you got to get from the pharmacist because it's got the.
Aleve.
Yeah, I think
Aleve is down here in our pain.
Well, Aleve, they make a sinus or severe
okay.
allergy.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
But it's not dealing with the, my running eye.
Yeah, well, you might need, you know, maybe, I mean, your runny eyes are probably because of, you know, the histamines in your body with everything going on. And, you know, you got Benadryl will help dry you out, because it will.
Right.
It's a dryer outer. These two will help dry things out. So you don't have anything respiratory, do you?
No.
No, just running.
It's all up in here.
Yeah.
So.
But don't you think it's because?
Granny says you gotta take the Vicks.
Oh, I've done that
Exactly right.
for my allergies. It's like my wife's like, "Why are you doing that?" I'm like, I
It
got to.
opens it up.
Yeah.
And
You don't think it's
great.
probably from all that smoke that we've been getting from Canada?
I kind of think
That's
it
what I
is
think.
because it's been the last
a
couple
lot
of
of
weeks.
a lot of people are having a hard time with that, and even I mean I get some allergies too, and then they're really going to start kicking in now that people are starting to hay
Right.
season, and so it's really going to